All right, so getting into the weekly soccer rant, it is all about soccer's secret weapon. And I've been meaning to do this rant for a while and really tell you guys about it, but I haven't, and obviously today's the day. Okay, so soccer's secret weapon, in my eyes, is juggling. Now, you may or may not know there are two ways to do it. There's the freestyle way, which is primarily used by juggling with your toes, and really involves a lot of tricks and flicks, like around the world. I forget all the names of these tricks. Where you pop it off your foot, whatever. You get it, right? All these tricks, okay? Now, it can help you, I think, but I think there's a better way, and this is soccer's secret weapon, is what I consider normal juggling. And this is where you use the shoelaces to pop the ball back up. Now, I'm going to explain why, and it's simple in the fact of, with the freestyle way, it's primarily used with your toe, right? And you're just kind of lifting the ball up a little bit. And it's actually funny, there is I believe it's called the World Freestyle Championships, and these are the best freestyles in the world, and they all use this technique, right? Now, I don't know if they can play soccer or not, but it's impressive they can do all these tricks and flicks. But I'm looking at it from a soccer development standpoint. The normal way, where you use your shoelaces, and again I'm going to explain here in a moment, is a better alternative. And the main reason, there's two. There's a mental benefit, and there's a incredible technical benefit, or technical multiple benefits. The first is the mental side, focus, right? Both actually offer this, but it's if you're not focused on what you're doing, you will drop the ball every time. Every single time, promise, guarantee you'll drop it. Okay, so it's a mental focus needed. Okay. The second element is, there's a few of them on a technical standpoint. The first is ball control. And for me, I think ball control is the most important technical piece a player can have. And I say that because if you do not have ball control in a game or a practice, you will lose the ball every single time. It doesn't matter if you can dribble well or pass well or shoot well. If you don't have a good first touch, you're done every time. Okay. The second side of that is juggling with your shoelaces, when done correctly, is the same technique as when you learn or how you strike the ball with power when you're trying to shoot. So it's the same form. So obviously there's a benefit of, okay, if you can start juggling correctly where you lock your foot, it's the same. So when you're getting this form down of shooting, if you can start mastering the juggling form of using the shoelaces, it'll translate into a better shot because you'll have the ankle locked with power when you're trying to shoot with power. Okay. Now, on the other side, going back to ball control real quickly, is when you have a good touch, right, and your juggling improves. Because look, I'll put it this way: every player hates juggling, especially when they start. And I was the same way. Not even gonna lie to anybody, I was the same way. And I tell every player that I work with, every parent as well, your child will not like juggling until they catch the fire. What I mean by that is, it sucks because you're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, but then you see Coach Kyle and he's doing 200, 300, 400, 500, 600,000, whatever. And any other player you work with, right? There might be some players that do a lot more. But trust me, every player that does it started at a low level, right? Not good, because first you have to learn the technique of how to do it the proper way. That's not easy in itself, because it's now having to obviously lock your ankle every time. The second part is, it's consistency. It's focus, and then it's the consistent element of using the proper technique to keep the ball alive. And that's hard. So on a personal note, I went, as a 9-year-old, I got stuck at 9, and I hated it. I was so upset, so angry, and couldn't figure out how to beat it. Then, no joke, this is not a joke, I will never forget this. One day, we were at actually a soccer camp, and I went from 9 to 63 in one day. Like, literally went from 9, and then all of a sudden, bing, 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 all the way up to 63, then dropped it. And then I was like, oh my God, I love juggling. Ever since then, it's hit me like wildfire, right? I love juggling. And that's why you see all my videos that I post, many elements of, like, on the feed of my feed, or on my feed, is juggling. And then almost every time I take the video, there's some element of juggling. Because again, I think it's that important. And you ask any player that I work with, or that I have worked with, they'll tell you how beneficial juggling has been to them. So for example, you can go ask Nick. You can go ask Anthony, you can go ask Keanu, you can ask Edgar, you can ask Ruben. All these players, and there's more, much more, don't get me wrong, Eugene, all of them. Ask them how important juggling the proper way has been for them. Ask Noah Lingo, right? And I'm going to use these three just for the example. Nick, Noah, and Anthony. They started with none, and now they're doing hundreds, hundreds, hundreds. But it also helps with both feet. Okay, so obviously I incorporate right foot and left foot. So if you're right-footed, you must use your left. If you're left-footed, you must use your right foot. And again, it's going to help your technical asset so much. And again, 99% of teams in this country don't actually pass the ball on the floor. And guess what they're doing instead? They're booting it. So think about this for a second. When you start really improving your juggling, your touch improves, you'll be able to control what out of the air? The ball, right? So when a goalkeeper punts it downfield, players that are very good at juggling, you'll see they'll have very good touches, and the ball will just usually hit their foot, drop to the floor, right? But those are the little details that a lot of players don't think about, or parents don't think about, is when teams that just boot the ball, how are you going to bring it down? Well, it's practice. It's the repetition of controlling the ball out of the air. Guess what? Juggling. Because again, I'll work on exercises where it's juggle a couple, play it up, control the ball out of the air, and keep it alive without it hitting the floor. First touch, right? Also, there's elements where I'll play it to them, they got to control and bring it down. But point is, it's all centered around juggling. So in a country where kickball reigns supreme, you just learned how important juggling is to being able to control a pass out of the air from a punt, from a throw, from a clear, kick, send, whatever word you want to use. Okay? And that's the honest truth about juggling and how important it is to a player. I want you guys to understand, while I consider juggling soccer's secret weapon, that doesn't make it the end-all be-all. It's your secret weapon, okay? But you still have to work on the other sides of your game as well, okay? Now, you go look at professional players, they can all juggle thousands. But they still obviously have to be able to dribble, pass, shoot, and learn tactical elements to be able to excel, okay? And I'm going to give you one last personal example. You can go Google this player. Her name is Andi Sullivan. She plays in the U.S. Women's National Team in soccer. And it's funny, we actually had the same coach, my mentor, her mentor. We used to actually train together all the time as kids. And you know what? Every single practice was almost always centered around juggling with Coach Paul. And you guys that know me personally know how incredible he was at developing players. Like, think about the things that I learned. Think about the player. I just told you he trained Andi Sullivan for years, and I used to train with her all the time as kids, or as a kid. And there's countless other players. But guess what? I picked up these traits from him, and that's only helping me develop better players down here, because it all, again, is centered around ball control. Oh yes, don't let me forget, I'm sorry, and I almost did it. When, at 14 years old for myself, okay, and I've mentioned this story before, but I want to really emphasize this point. My friend Joel from Olympique Lyonnais, he's still there currently as a coach. He's been there for over 15 years. He came here, his first test for any player, you know what it was? Juggling. And this was me as a 14-year-old. You ready for this? 50 right, 50 left, 50 both feet, so alternating, and then 50 headers. And the challenge was you could not drop or catch the ball in between. So once you got 50 right, you had to go to 50 left. From 50 left, 50 both. 50 both, 50 headers, without dropping it or catching it. So that was his first test. I just met the guy, and he goes, okay, I was recommended with another player. Let's see if you can do this. 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. Bingo, right? Juggling. And that's at Olympique Lyonnais, one of the highest, biggest professional clubs in the world. So that was his first test. I just met the guy, and he goes, okay, I was recommended with another player. Let's see if you can do this. 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. Bingo, right? Juggling. And that's at Olympique Lyonnais, one of the highest, biggest professional clubs in the world. Their academy coach, first thing, juggling. Take that as a note for you.